of the PNM as an institution, as I say, and I probably could even go one step further to say it is really a living organism. It's a body of people that is very active, that's dynamic, and that represents the ideals of what our future nation and country could be. And it was a real conference with real people, hundreds of young people from throughout Trinidad and Tobago gathered, and at that forum elected an entire executive with a chairman, an entire executive team, and if you want to look at it, similarly modeling the larger structures within the organizations in terms of the national party's executive, and you could even go one step further, probably even the cabinet. And it affords you as a young person to develop experience in terms of boardroom governance, how to conduct meetings, and the proper protocol and procedure behind all of those activities. So you could never, as a young person, I must say, get involved in active politics within the People's National Movement and remain at the same level. Definitely be a different individual, transform, it makes you stronger, and it really contributes to the type of character and person that you emerge one way or the other, once your ideals are properly aligned to the overarching philosophy and vision of the People's National Movement, which speaks to a mobilization, a rally, a coming together, a movement of people gathered for the common good. And after my election, we would have embarked upon several national projects, youth development projects in Trinidad and Tobago. We would have seen the functioning of all of our then constituency youth leagues in Trinidad and in Tobago, and we would have done a lot of projects in that regard to further development of youth in Trinidad and Tobago. We would have also been active during that period. I can remember as it relates to the passage of a national youth policy and the strategic operational plan for the youth policy with 15 courses of action. During that period, we would have also started a weekly column in the Trinidad Guardian on Saturday in the first instance. It started probably around February 21st, 2004, and continued till I demitted office in December of 2005, when I reached the age limit of 25, and it continued after that. The weekly column in the Trinidad Guardian, which was continued by Wesley George, who was then the Youth League's education officer, and he's now today one of our young senators in the parliament. He's also parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Health. So that I'm just saying that the PNM Youth League has done a lot. We've had the opportunity to be involved in a lot and also be exposed to all the various structures and levels of the party that allow for us to develop. Every member of the entire Youth League executive when I was elected, and it is still the case because it is part of the structure of the party's constitution, that affords every member of the Youth League executive to be a member of the General Council. And then, as Youth League chairman, I would have also had the opportunity to be a member of the central executive of the party. All these are levels that affords you the opportunity to be exposed to decision making, to be in contact with the leadership of the party, the Prime Minister, and affords you to be able to get the opportunity to have your voices heard. I can remember when I was elected chairman of the Youth League, very early I met with the Prime Minister, and I said to the Prime Minister then, I said, these are my plans for the Youth League. Tell me what are the do's and what are the don'ts. And the Prime Minister essentially said to me that essentially really there are no constraints, and that the only thing I will advise is that anything that requires public pronouncement, public issuance, be guided in so doing. Other than that, really and truly, the sky was more or less the limit in terms of us as young people. And I thought it was very important that I mentioned that, because many times people say that the Youth League or the young people in the PNM, they're not really given or afforded the opportunity for free reign, and we're more or less like puppets of the adults, and that is not true. Our Prime Minister, and I could speak from my own personal experience and obtains today, I supported the young people and youth in the PNM to the point that really and truly has never placed any limit on what we could do from what we can't do, and any limit that will place is a result of our own doing. And the articles in the Guardian afforded us the opportunity to give voice to youth. We made pronouncements in many social, national, political, and various issues, and almost on any topics we wrote. And we did so well on eventually the Guardian moved us from on Saturday to Friday, and eventually moved us to the prime page, editorial page of the newspaper. And we would have had a very rewarding experience there. When Hurricane Ivan struck Grenada, the PNM Youth League had sent a delegation to Grenada on a fact-finding mission to look at the impact of the hurricane on the lives of the young people in Grenada. And that was our contribution, apart from what else was taking place from a government-to-government standpoint or arrangement. And that was also another rewarding experience, in that we was able to actually contribute, meet our young colleagues in Grenada. I remember we had meetings with the then Prime Minister of Grenada, Prime Minister Mitchell, the opposition leader, Mr. Tillman Thomas, who today is actually the current Prime Minister of Grenada. And I'm saying that all of these were opportunities and forums that young people in the PNM, ordinary young people from throughout the country, in the vast spans of the communities, were able to participate in as any other citizen. And that is very much akin to the type of leadership that the PNM is today providing the national community as it relates to the vision for the developed society status, Vision 2020. When one looks at the unprecedented level of developmental opportunities and programs for youth, it's really something that makes you sit back and wonder, what kind of government would really take such an interest in its youth population. And I can only say that I'm very proud that the kind of government that can do that is the PNM government, because it has never really afforded me a moment of doubt or regret when I decided back in 1999 to join the PNM formally and to participate actively in politics. And therefore I'm saying that I'm very proud of my involvement in the PNM for some 9 years now. And I'm very proud of the government's agenda for youth and its broader agenda for Trinidad and Tobago. There are many opportunities available to a young person in Trinidad and Tobago. Education, if not education,